He divorced her the day she gave birth. 5 years later, a phone call destroys his perfect life. "Mr. Reed, your ex-wife is in the hospital, and it's about the baby." His world stops. "Before I begin, please watch this story till the end. I promise, every second matters, every twist, every heartbeat, every tear. You will not regret staying till the final moment, because sometimes one decision can destroy a life, and one truth can change everything. Now, let's begin." The evening rush at Les Lumières, the most exclusive restaurant in the city, could crush any ordinary person with its noise and chaos. Crystal glasses chimed, silver cutlery clattered, and heels clicked across the polished marble floor. But at table 17, the world felt still. Because Alexander Reed, the youngest millionaire CEO on the magazine covers, was sitting there. He looked like he belonged on the cover of a luxury fragrance ad. Tall, sharp jawline, dark hair slicked back, icy blue eyes, and an expression that said he owned everything he touched. The tailored black suit hugged his broad shoulders like it was stitched onto him. He wasn't smiling. He never smiled. Alexander glanced at his watch, impatience slicing across his face. "These negotiations are a waste of time," he murmured into his phone, his voice low and clipped. "Cancel tomorrow's meeting. If the merger isn't beneficial, I'm not interested." He ended the call without waiting for a response and pushed his chair back with a scrape. His laptop and a leather folder sat on the table, documents worth millions inside. He didn't notice. He didn't care. His world moved too fast to remember things that weren't about money. Across the room, a young waitress paused mid-step. Amara Hayes, brown skin glowing under warm restaurant lights, hair braided neatly to keep it out of her face, eyes tired yet bright. She wasn't one of those people who looked like they belonged in fancy places. She looked like she fought her way into them. And tonight, exhaustion weighed on her. 10-hour shift, no breaks, rent overdue. Her stomach growled, but she tightened her apron and moved to take another order. She noticed Alexander standing. He looked irritated with the world, like the air itself dared to take his time. He didn't thank the staff, didn't look back, didn't wait for the bill. He just walked out. The door closed behind him. The restaurant's noise reset around her. Amara sighed. "Rich people," she whispered under her breath, shaking her head. She turned to the table to clean it, and froze. On the chair, a sleek black laptop bag. On the table, a folder labeled "Reed Global Mergers, Highly Confidential." Her heart jumped. "Oh no, 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 no." She snatched the folder open and her eyebrows lifted. Business contracts, property documents, things she didn't fully understand, but she knew one thing. This material was important. If she gave it to the wrong person, it could ruin someone. She rushed to the door. "Sir, excuse me," she called into the night. But Alexander Reed was already gone. The manager approached from behind her. "Hayes, why are you by the entrance? We have tables waiting." She swallowed. "Sir, a customer forgot something." The manager's eyes locked on the laptop. His expression shifted. Not interest. Greed. "That looks expensive." He reached for it. Amara clutched it to her chest. "It belongs to the man who was at table 17. The CEO? Alexander Reed, give it to me. I'll handle it." Every instinct in her screamed no. The manager was the kind of person who would sell his own shadow for money. "No," she said softly. "I'll return it myself." "That's not your job." "It's my responsibility." He leaned closer. "Be careful, Amara. This is above your pay grade." She walked away, heart pounding. In the staff room, she sat with the laptop bag on her lap. "You can't keep this," she whispered to herself. "You have to give it back." But she didn't know where he lived, didn't know his company address, didn't have his number. Only thing she had, his name. Alexander Reed, and the determination to do what's right. That night she searched online. Every page listed information, but none gave a direct contact. His company website required a corporate ID for appointments. No luck. She didn't give up. Day 1. She visited Reed Global headquarters. The receptionist smiled politely. "Do you have an appointment?" "I don't, but I need to return something to Mr. Reed." The receptionist's smile froze. "Leave it. We will deliver it." Amara shook her head. "I have to hand it to him personally." "That's impossible." Security escorted her out. Day 2. She tracked down his personal chauffeur outside the building. "Sir, please. I have his belongings." The driver didn't even look at her. "Leave it with staff." She refused. Security escorted her out. Again. Day 3. Her shoes were soaked with rain. She stood outside the skyscraper with determination in her eyes and a laptop bag pressed to her chest. Every passing executive stared at her like she didn't belong. Maybe I don't. But she stayed. Because integrity wasn't for the rich, it was for the right. Finally, a stroke of luck. A janitor taking trash out accidentally held the back door open too long. Amara slipped inside. Her heart raced. She scanned the floor numbers on the elevator. Top floor, executive suites. She pressed the button. Each floor dinged. She held her breath. If someone stopped her, she would be escorted out again. The elevator opened. The floor smelled of leather furniture and money. Her sneakers squeaked against the floor. She walked until security spotted her. "Ma'am, you can't—" "Please," she gasped. "Just listen. I have his—" Two men grabbed her arms. Her voice trembled, but she clutched the laptop tighter. "It's his laptop. Please, just tell him." They dragged her across the lobby as if her words were wind. The elevator doors opened on the far end. Alexander Reed stepped out. He looked at her with the same expression he had in the restaurant. Uninterested. Untouchable. Cold. His eyes flicked to the laptop bag. He recognized it. She tried to speak, breathless. "I spent 3 days trying to return this to you." He didn't move. He didn't blink. He simply nodded at the guards. "Remove her." The guards tightened their grip. Her voice cracked. "I just wanted to do the right thing." His face held no gratitude, only annoyance. To him, she was just a waitress, someone who didn't belong in his world. The guards dragged her away. As the guards pulled her into the elevator, she locked eyes with him and whispered, "You could have at least said thank you." Alexander's cold gaze didn't soften, but his chest tightened for the first time in years. He felt it. A crack in his perfectly frozen heart. The elevator doors closed with a metallic thud. The guard's footsteps echoed down the hallway, dragging her away. Alexander stood rooted at the spot, staring at the closed elevator doors. For a moment, only silence. Not the silence of peace. The silence of something shifting inside him. His assistant cleared her throat. "Sir, the quarterly board review is—" He lifted a hand, silencing her. Not a word. His gaze followed the empty hallway as if her voice still lingered there. "You could have at least said thank you." Her final whisper clung to him like a thorn. He should have dismissed it. He tried to. He turned toward his office, stepping inside with his usual controlled composure. But the moment the door shut behind him, another voice echoed. "She spent 3 days trying to return this to you." He set the laptop bag on his desk. The leather folder slid halfway out. A small note peeked from the side. Thin handwriting. Not desperate, not demanding, just honest. "I hope this reaches you safely. Amara H." He froze. His jaw tightened, not from anger, but from something he didn't recognize. Guilt. He didn't like that feeling. It made him feel human. He pressed his thumb against the note as if trying to erase the unfamiliar emotion. Why would someone like her go through so much trouble? for a stranger. He rubbed the bridge of his nose. He wasn't used to being the one who felt small. "Sir," his assistant said again carefully, "there was a waitress downstairs. She said she tried for 3 days to return." "I know." His voice came out sharper than intended. The assistant stiffened. "I just thought you should know. She was telling the truth." "The truth." He exhaled slowly, irritation simmering under his ribs. Not at her, at himself. He grabbed the laptop, headed for the elevator, ignoring the startled employees that parted for him like waves. "Cancel all my meetings," he ordered. "But, sir—" "Do it." The elevator doors closed. He descended. Floor by floor, the air seemed to grow heavier. By the time he reached the lobby, his heart was pounding like he'd run a marathon. The guard stood near the entrance. "Where is she?" he demanded. They blinked. "Sir?" "The woman you escorted out. Where did she go?" They exchanged looks. "She left." He pushed past them, stepping outside. Rain hammered the pavement. Wind slapped his face. And there, across the driveway, half hidden under the overhang, she stood. Amara. Rain drenched her uniform, soaking her braids, dripping down her face like tears she refused to shed. She wasn't crying. She was simply tired, still holding the laptop bag against her chest, still determined, still waiting. And for the first time in years, Alexander couldn't breathe. He stepped into the rain without hesitation. Drops smacked his suit, darkening the fabric, flattening his hair. She saw him approaching and straightened her posture, even though her hands trembled. "You didn't need to wait," he said. His voice burned with something unfamiliar. Regret. Amara blinked against the rain. "I wanted to make sure you received it." A stupid, simple sentence, but it shattered something inside him. He took the laptop bag from her hands. She shivered as the weight left her arms. He stared at her, rain dripping from his eyelashes. "You spent 3 days trying to give this back to me," he said quietly. She looked down. It was the right thing to do. Most people chased him for money, favors, connections. She chased him to return something that wasn't hers. "You could have just left it with the restaurant?" His voice was barely over a whisper. "I didn't want it getting into the wrong hands." She hugged herself against the cold. He didn't know which stung more, the rain or the realization that someone with so little had more integrity than everyone he knew. He removed his coat and draped it over her shoulders. She started to protest. "You don't have to." "I know." He held her gaze. For once, there was no ice in his blue eyes, just raw, unfiltered emotion, something he didn't allow himself to feel. "Thank you," he said. 2 words he rarely used. Her breath hitched. He extended a hesitant hand. "I owe you dinner." Her brows lifted, startled. "Dinner?" "Yes." No hesitation now. "Tomorrow, 7. Valencier Restaurant. I'll send a car." She blinked, surprised. "Mr. Reed, I don't—" "Alexander." A beat of silence. "Alexander." The way she said his name pulled the air out of his lungs. He cleared his throat, suddenly unsure of how to stand. "Will you come?" She hesitated. Maybe she expected this to be a joke. Maybe she didn't believe someone like him could genuinely ask someone like her. But despite everything, despite being dragged out, ignored, dismissed, she nodded. Yes. For the first time in years, a real smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Not a business smile, a human one. Good. He watched her walk away with his coat wrapped around her. Her figure grew smaller in the rain, but the crack she left in his heart grew wider. That night, he couldn't focus on a single document. Every time he blinked, he saw her eyes, filled with rain and strength. He didn't know why she mattered. He only knew she did. The next evening, the restaurant glowed with soft, golden lighting. Alexander sat at a reserved private table, tapping his finger against the crystal glass. He wasn't used to waiting. But tonight, he didn't mind. Because she arrived. Simple dress, braided hair falling over her shoulders, brown skin warm under the candle glow, beautiful in the kind of way that didn't need permission. She sat across from him, nervous but dignified. He cleared his throat, voice lower than usual. "I'm glad you came." She smiled, soft and unsure. "I almost didn't." "Why?" "Because men like you don't notice women like me." He leaned forward. "Wrong." She swallowed. He studied her like she was a problem he wanted to solve, a mystery he wanted to unravel. He didn't realize he was staring. He didn't realize he'd stopped breathing. Until the words slipped out. "I think I like you." Amara froze, eyes wide, and the world around them stopped. Amara's breath froze in her chest. Raiden Harrington, the man feared in every corporate boardroom, had just confessed something fragile, something human. The restaurant's warm lighting painted a soft glow across his usually stone-cold face. No arrogance, no sharp superiority, just confession and uncertainty. Amara swallowed hard, fingers clutching her napkin. "What did you just say?" she whispered. "I think I like you," he repeated slowly, as if afraid the words might break. She blinked rapidly. Her palms grew damp. She wasn't prepared for this. She wasn't ready to be seen. She shook her head. "You're joking." "I don't joke about things like this," Raiden replied, voice deep and steady. She felt her heart twist painfully. "No," she murmured, pulling her hand back. "You don't like me. You like that I wasn't scared of your anger." His brows furrowed. "That's not what this is." "You're rich," she said. "You're beautiful, powerful, a CEO who could have anyone." He leaned forward, searching her eyes. "And?" She laughed, but it sounded like a wounded thing. "And I'm just me." The words trembled in the air. She looked away, looked down at her own hands, the hands that washed dishes in shared apartments, the hands that emailed companies begging for work, the hands that held on to dreams that never bloomed. Her voice cracked. "You wear suits worth more than my yearly rent," she murmured. "You live in penthouses I'll never see. Your world sparkles. Mine survives." Raiden studied her, really studied her, as if finally seeing the bruises life had left on her. "Amara," he said softly, "look at me." She didn't. He stood, walked to her side of the table, slowly, careful not to startle her, and crouched down. Rain battered the restaurant windows. The world outside blurred into silver streaks. But in here, it was silence. Just the two of them. He reached for her hand, hesitated, then gently took it. "You think I care about money?" he asked. She didn't answer. "You think wealth makes someone worthy of love?" Amara squeezed her eyes shut, trying to breathe. "It does in your world," she whispered. "In your world, people like me are invisible." Raiden lifted her hand so delicately that she felt fragile in the best way. "Hearts should be beautiful," he murmured. "Skin color never mattered to me. Status never mattered to me." Amara's chest tightened. "No one talks like that in real life." He smiled, a small, honest smile, the kind only a brave man shows when he has something to lose. "I'm not talking like a CEO," he said quietly. "I'm talking like a man who's falling in love." Her breath hitched. He leaned down, not to kiss her lips, but her hand. A slow, reverent kiss that felt like a vow. Her heartbeat slammed against her ribs. Nobody had ever touched her like that, not with hunger, not with possession, but with respect. The kiss lingered, warm, gentle, full of feeling. She whispered, barely audible, "Raiden, this can't happen." His gaze flicked up. "Why not?" "I don't belong beside someone like you." He stood, still holding her hand. "Then I'll belong beside you," he said simply. The waiter dropped off dessert. Neither of them touched it. They stayed there long after their plates had grown cold, talking about fears, childhood dreams, wounds they didn't show anyone else. For the first time in years, she laughed without holding back. He watched her, captivated. Days turned into weeks. Coffee dates became morning routines. Shared glances turned into stolen kisses in quiet corners of the office. He sent her flowers, but simple ones, daisies, not roses. Because, he said, you deserve softness. Amara opened up like a sunrise, slowly, beautifully. And Ryden? He fell deeper, harder, hopelessly. One evening he took her to a rooftop under a sky full of city lights. The wind tangled her braids. She wrapped her arms around herself. Ryden stepped closer. I've never met anyone like you, he confessed. You don't see me as a bank account. You look at me like I'm human, she whispered. You are. He brushed a stray tear from her cheek. Marry me. Her breath fell apart. What? I want a forever with you, he said. Not someday. Now she searched his face, looking for doubt. There wasn't any. But Ryden. Say yes, he whispered. Her voice trembled. Yes. He exhaled in relief, then kissed her like the world stopped rotating. The wedding was intimate, not grand. No press, no diamonds. Just vows spoken with trembling hands and eyes full of truth. He promised loyalty. She promised to stay. His hand cupped her cheek. You're not just you, he whispered. You're everything. They were framed by soft lights, surrounded by warmth and hope. For once, their world was quiet, peaceful, safe, until a pair of eyes watched them from across the hall, unblinking, envious, sharper than broken glass. His secretary. Her jaw clenched so tightly that her teeth hurt. Her fingers dug into her own palm. She whispered to herself, This should have been my place. Her eyes burned with a rage that promised storms. On the wedding night, hidden behind a column, the secretary watches them with jealousy, eyes filled with a darkness that says, This love story, I will destroy it. The secretary's eyes glimmered with jealousy from the shadows of the reception hall. The newlyweds walked away, fingers intertwined, unaware of the venom brewing only a few steps behind them. Evelyn watched them disappear toward the elevator, her jaw clenched. The polished smile she wore earlier dropped the second they were out of sight. Her red lipstick curved into something sour, something wicked, something hungry. But months passed. Time shifted. Reality changed. The wedding glow faded into the exhausting rhythm of business, meetings, travel. Alexander was no longer the man who once stared at his wife with awe. He was the man who stared at his phone, at numbers, at deals, at Evelyn. Amara woke up alone more often than not. The marble kitchen floor felt too cold without his laughter echoing around it. She placed 2 coffee cups on the table every morning, even when she knew he wouldn't be there. Habit made her wait. Hope made her continue. He rushed through the house like a storm of cologne and urgency. He kissed her forehead quickly and said, I'll be home soon. Soon never came. Evelyn hovered around him like a shadow stitched to his body. She booked his flights. She controlled his schedule. She stood so close that intimacy became a habit. Their connection used to be rare and precious. Now their distance was the routine. Amara sat at her sewing machine one evening, mending a button on his shirt. She smiled softly at the fabric, remembering how he used to whisper, "Thank you," and kiss her shoulder. But tonight the house felt too silent, too hollow, too unfamiliar. She checked her phone. Nothing. Not a single message from him. Her heart whispered, he must be busy. Her mind whispered, busy with whom? Meanwhile, in another city, Alexander sank deeper into paperwork. Evelyn placed documents on the table and leaned closer, too close. Her perfume was too heavy, her voice too sugary. Let me help you, Alexander, she murmured. You work so hard. She doesn't understand your world. He didn't respond, but he didn't stop her either. Evelyn noticed his silence as permission. She circled him slowly, pushing a hand through her sleek blonde hair. "You're built for greatness," she whispered. "Your wife slows you down." The words seeped into his mind like poison. At first, he ignored them, but repetition changes beliefs. Repetition builds doubt. She doesn't fit your world. She doesn't fit your world. She doesn't fit your world. He began coming home later. He stopped noticing Amara's efforts. He stopped seeing her sacrifices. Amara sat alone in their bedroom, staring at the untouched dinner plates she prepared. Spices had gone cold. Candles had burned low. Her heart was a quiet ache. He walked in past midnight. He didn't see the effort. He saw inconvenience. "We could have eaten outside," he muttered, loosening his tie. "I already had dinner with Evelyn." The words slapped her. Evelyn. Her name tasted like betrayal. "Oh," Amara whispered. She forced a smile. Hurt hid behind her expression like a trembling child. "That's fine." It wasn't. She lay awake that night and traced circles on the empty side of the bed. She remembered when he couldn't sleep without her hand on his chest. When he used to whisper, "I don't want to lose you." Now he didn't notice he was already losing her. One morning he stood in the walk-in closet, tossing clothes into his suitcase. Evelyn stood at the doorway, waiting, tapping her nails against her iPad. Her presence was intrusive, possessive, confident. "Where are you going?" Amara asked softly. "Singapore." "Business trip," he said without meeting her eyes. "I'll be back in 2 days." Evelyn arranged everything. Evelyn gave a smug nod, as though the trip belonged to her. Amara watched the exchange, two co-workers acting like partners. Her throat tightened. Her heart throbbed. When the door closed behind them, the silence screamed. Days passed. Nights passed. Her hope broke. Finally, the front door clicked. Alexander returned, tired, disconnected. He smelled like hotel air and foreign perfume. He walked straight to the closet, starting to unpack. Amara stood behind him, pretending to fix the bedsheet, pretending she wasn't waiting for him to notice her pain. A small velvet box slipped from the suitcase. It hit the wooden floor with a tiny thud. Amara froze. Her breath caught. Her pulse raced. She picked it up slowly. Her fingers trembled. It wasn't hers. She opened the lid. A delicate silver necklace with a single pearl shimmered under the closet light. Beautiful, expensive, intimate, and engraved on the inside clasp were the initials, E.F. Evelyn Foster. Her heartbeat cracked. Her world tilted. She looked up. Alexander's face was unreadable, emotionless, cold. "What is this?" she whispered. He looked at the necklace. He looked at her, and he didn't flinch. Amara's voice shook. Her eyes filled with disbelief. "Why? Was her necklace in your suitcase, Alexander?" Amara stood frozen. The pearl necklace glimmered in her trembling hand. Her voice cracked like thin glass. "Why was her necklace in your suitcase, Alexander?" He looked at her without blinking, emotionless, detached, as if her pain was a minor inconvenience, a small wrinkle in his schedule. "It must have fallen in," he said flatly. No explanation, no apology. Amara's throat tightened. Her fingers curled around the necklace, digging into her palm. "Fallen in?" she whispered. "Like magic?" Alexander exhaled sharply. He pinched the bridge of his nose, irritated. "Amara, don't start drama." Drama. That word sliced her. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. "I am not accusing you. I just deserve the truth." He turned away. "You're overreacting." But she saw something in his eyes. Guilt. Or maybe annoyance. Or maybe he didn't love her anymore. Amara swallowed hard. "Did something happen between you and Evelyn?" He froze, just for one fraction of a second, then masked it. Of course not, he snapped. Before she could speak again, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. A message from Evelyn. Hotel lobby. Waiting. Can't stop thinking about last night. He turned the phone face down on the table. Too fast. Too guilty. Amara noticed. Her stomach twisted. Who is texting you at this hour? He glared. You don't trust me? After everything I give you? Give. Like she was a charity project. Amara's voice broke. I trusted you with my life. He walked toward the door. I need air. When he left the house, she sank onto the floor, necklace clutched tight. Tears streamed silently. Her fear finally had a shape, a name. Evelyn. At the office, Evelyn leaned against Alexander's desk. Her perfume was thick, sweet, suffocating. She handed him a printed screenshot, a fake chat, edited, manipulated, a fake conversation showing Amara texting another man. See, Evelyn whispered, she isn't loyal. She still talks to someone from her past. Alexander stared at the screenshot. His jaw tensed. Anger simmered. He wanted to believe Amara, but Evelyn had already spent months planting doubt. She married you for status, Evelyn breathed. She'll leave when she finds someone better. Alexander clenched the paper. He felt betrayed, humiliated. Evelyn placed a hand on his arm. You deserve someone who understands your level. Her touch lingered. He didn't push her away. Back home, Amara waited all night. She sat by the window, hugging her knees. Her eyes burned, her body trembled. The storm outside mirrored the one inside her. She replayed every memory, every kiss, every promise. Was she not enough? Was love not enough? The next morning, Alexander returned. His steps were sharp, angry, decisive. He didn't kiss her, didn't even look at her. Amara rushed to him. Alexander, can we talk? He threw a stack of papers on the table. Sign these. She stared at them. Pages, legal documents, divorce. Her blood turned to ice. Why? She whispered. You cheated, he said, voice cold. Evelyn showed me the messages. What messages? I have no one. Her voice broke. Lies. A setup. A trap. Stop pretending, he barked. I married beneath my standards. This was a mistake. Her heart shattered, piece by jagged piece. I loved you, she whispered. I loved you with everything I had. He turned away, unmoved, unreachable. Sign the papers. Her hand shook as she picked up the pen. Her tears blurred the ink. She signed her name. Her marriage ended in a smear of heartbreak. He grabbed the papers and turned to leave. Amara followed him to the door, voice trembling. Alexander, I need to tell you something. He didn't stop walking, didn't turn, didn't care. I'm pregnant. The words fell into the silence like a dying breath. But Alexander was already outside, already sliding into Evelyn's car, already choosing someone else. He didn't hear her. He didn't look back. Amara's vision blurred. Her knees buckled, her body swayed. I'm pregnant, she repeated, voice weak. She clutched her stomach, her heart, her last piece of hope. Her world tilted. Darkness surged around her. Her fingertips slipped from the doorframe. Amara collapses to the floor, unconscious, as the man she loves drives away with another woman. Her body hit the cold floor. The sound echoed like something breaking. Not just her fall, but her entire life. Everything blurred. Her vision faded. Silence swallowed her. When she opened her eyes, the ceiling was white. Too white. The smell of antiseptic stung her nose. She struggled to breathe. Voices floated around her like distant waves. She collapsed from stress. She's pregnant and dehydrated. We need to monitor her. Pregnant. That word felt like both a blessing and a wound. Amara blinked, trying to sit up. A nurse gently held her shoulders. Hey, hey, slow down, you fainted, Amara's voice cracked. He left. The nurse didn't know what to say. She only squeezed Amara's hand, a stranger offering a kindness her husband never did. Days passed in the hospital. Doctors checked her vitals. Nurses adjusted her IV. Nobody came to visit. Not Alexander, not Evelyn. No one. Just Amara and the tiny heartbeat inside her. The baby inside her fought, and she fought for the baby. When she was strong enough to leave, the nurse walked her to the exit. A soft smile, a gentle encouragement. You're not alone, the nurse whispered. But when the doors closed behind her, the world felt massive, cold, and merciless. Amara walked out with nothing, no home, no husband, no money. Only her pregnancy report in one hand and shattered dreams in the other. Months went by. She worked wherever she could, washing dishes in the morning, cleaning offices at night, sometimes delivering food until her feet bled. Her belly grew, her strength grew faster. People stared, some pitied, but no one knew her story. She hid the divorce papers in an old shoebox, as if hiding them could hide the pain. Sometimes, when she finished her late-night shift, she sat in a corner of the staff room, one hand on her belly. It's okay, she whispered. Mama's here. Mama won't leave you, the baby kicked as if answering. Her heart melted. She felt purpose again. When the final labor pains hit, she was alone on a bus. No husband pacing a hallway, no hand to hold, no name to whisper to the doctor as an emergency contact, just Amara. Hours of screaming, tears, sweat, fear, and then a cry. Soft, high, and beautiful. A tiny boy was placed on her chest, brown skin like hers, a small tuft of curly hair. Eyes searching for a world he didn't know would be cruel. Liam, she whispered. Your name is Liam. She pressed a kiss to his forehead. You're all I have. And I'll be enough. Liam became her heartbeat. Years passed. Liam grew like sunlight, warm, bright, full of life. He held Amara's finger when crossing the street. He fell asleep on her chest after long days. He giggled when she tickled his tiny ribs. When she worked night shifts, he slept in a neighbor's apartment. Sometimes on a couch, sometimes on a blanket spread on the floor. But he never cried. He always waited for her, and every morning, without fail, he'd run to her as if she were the entire world. Mama, he'd squeal, arms wide. Amara dropped to her knees and hugged him tight. That moment, that love, kept her alive. She'd spend her last dollar on milk before she spent a cent on herself. She'd walk to work to save money for his shoes. She fixed his clothes with needle and thread. His lunchbox always carried more love than food. She was tired, exhausted, but grateful. Liam didn't have luxury. He had love. Meanwhile, across the city, Alexander sat in his penthouse office. Evelyn stood beside him, as always. He had everything: wealth, power, prestige. But his glass of whiskey never tasted right. The lights felt too bright, the bed too large, the nights too silent. Evelyn touched his arm during a meeting. He didn't feel a thing. When she kissed him, there was no spark, no fire, no heartbeat. It felt like kissing a wall. He began coming home later. Then, not at all. Business dinners turned into sleepless nights, staring at city lights. Something was missing. Something he couldn't name. But it was Amara. He just didn't know that yet. Evelyn noticed his distance. What's wrong with you lately? She snapped. He looked at her, eyes hollow. I don't feel anything. Her smile faltered. She forced a laugh. Maybe you need another vacation. He didn't respond. Didn't care. He didn't realize that while he had chosen wealth, he had lost the one thing money couldn't buy. Love. Back in the small, rented room, Amara sat on the edge of the bed, rocking Liam to sleep. He curled against her chest, breathing softly. She touched his cheek and whispered, You saved me, Liam. You are the reason I survived. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She frowned and answered quietly. Hello? A doctor's voice came through. Calm, professional. Miss Amara, we received Liam's blood test results. Her heart stopped. Her breath froze. What? What happened? She whispered. The doctor inhaled slowly, voice heavy. There's a complication with your baby. The world didn't stop for pain. Bills still came. People still laughed. Life still pushed forward. 5 years later, far from hospitals and midnight prayers, sunlight spilled over a private beach resort. Palm trees swayed lazily, bending to the ocean breeze. Champagne fizzed like trapped laughter inside crystal flutes. The air smelled of salt, expensive cologne, and celebration. Alexander Reed leaned against a marble bar overlooking the infinity pool. His black sunglasses hid his eyes, but not the exhaustion behind them. His shirt was unbuttoned just enough to reveal a perfect tan and a body shaped through discipline and bitterness. Labor Day weekend. Yet nothing felt like labor for a billionaire. Music thumped through hidden speakers. Waiters glided by, carrying trays of imported wine. Evelyn appeared beside him, wearing a golden swimsuit that caught the sunlight. She wrapped her arms around his shoulders. Finally relaxing? Trying to, he said, sipping whiskey. But relaxation felt foreign in his chest. Evelyn pulled out her phone. She angled it for a selfie. Smile, Alex. People love seeing that you're living the good life. He forced a smile while she snapped the photo. Immediately, she added a caption, #Labor Day Luxury, #Power Couple. Alexander looked away. The ocean sparkled but didn't warm him. He watched waves crash against the rocks, steady, relentless, reminding him of something he couldn't name. A shadow of a memory stirred. Dark hair, warm eyes, a baby's faint cry. He blinked. The memory vanished. Evelyn laughed, throwing her head back. You need another drink. You're thinking again. That's dangerous. Before he could answer, a hotel employee approached with a polite, uneasy smile. Sir, there's a call for you. It's private, Alexander frowned. Now? Yes, Mr. Reed. They said it's urgent. Evelyn rolled her eyes. Oh, come on. On Labor Day? Can't your people handle anything on their own? Alexander handed her his glass. This sounds different. He followed the attendant into a quieter lounge. Cool air swept over him, chilling his skin after the sun's heat. The staff member handed him a landline phone. Line 1, sir. Alexander pressed the receiver to his ear. This is Reed. There was a pause. A voice cleared its throat. Mr. Reed, this is Dr. Collins from Mercy General Hospital. A chill moved through his spine. Hospitals meant inconvenience, lawsuits, publicity issues. What's the problem? Alexander asked. His tone was clipped, businesslike, emotionless. The doctor hesitated. It's about your ex-wife, Amara Reyes. His brows furrowed. Amara? A name he hadn't spoken aloud in years. He hadn't allowed it. Memories stayed locked behind pride and ignorance. His pulse tightened. He leaned against the glass wall. What about her? She's in the hospital, the doctor replied cautiously, and it's about the baby. The words didn't register. Not immediately. Not fully. Baby. His mind stuttered. A crack formed in the perfect world he built. Laughter from the party no longer existed. Sunlight no longer felt warm. He looked out to the ocean, but suddenly it looked too vast, too deep, too real. His hand slipped. The whiskey glass he held dropped, shattered on the polished tile. He didn't feel it fall. He didn't feel anything. Just one whisper left his lips, raw, rasped, trembling. Baby. On the other end of the line, the doctor spoke softly. Mr. Reed, the child needs you. Time froze. Alexander stood over the shattered glass, whiskey pooling at his feet, the scent sharp like reality punching his senses awake. Baby. A word he never allowed himself to think, a word that hollowed his chest with violence. He swallowed, voice strained. What? Baby. The doctor on the phone inhaled slowly, choosing every word. Your son. Liam. 5-year-old son. A second punch. He's your biological child, Mr. Reed. Alexander's heartbeat slammed against his ribs. He pressed his palm against the glass wall to steady himself. A son. 5 years. He felt dizzy. And my ex-wife, he forced out, she's in critical condition after collapsing. Your son is asking for you. A softness crept into the doctor's voice. He keeps whispering, is Daddy coming? Something inside Alexander cracked wide open. He didn't remember giving permission to his legs, but suddenly he was moving, running. Evelyn spotted him storming across the resort lobby. Alex! Alex, where are you going? We still have the yacht reservation. He didn't stop. He grabbed his car keys off the marble reception desk and headed for the exit. Evelyn followed in her heels, voice sharp. Alexander, what is wrong with you? He turned, face carved from stone. Amara is in the hospital. Her smile faltered, first confusion, then irritation. So? His jaw clenched. There's a child involved. Evelyn's voice went ice cold. A child? That can't be yours. His hand froze on the door handle. She stepped closer, gripping his sleeve. You don't owe her anything. She left you, remember? He yanked his arm free. No, I left. For the first time in years, he admitted it out loud. Evelyn blinked. Her control crumbled. She trapped you. She was beneath you. She was my wife. Each word was a dagger. And if that boy is mine, I will never forgive myself. He rushed outside. Rain hammered the pavement, thunder rolling like a war drum. The sky had cracked open, as if it understood his urgency. He jumped into his black Aston Martin. Engine roared, tires screeched, the world blurred into streaks of rain and headlights. On the highway, his mind tore apart every memory. Amara laughing softly. Amara brushing hair behind her ear. Amara looking up at him on their wedding night. Hearts should be beautiful. He felt sick. His knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. I should have listened. I should have stayed. The windshield wipers battled the storm. He pushed the speed higher. Every second mattered. He replayed the phone call again. Your son is asking for you. How many birthdays had he missed? How many nights had Amara cried alone? How many doctor visits without him? Guilt twisted like a rope around his throat. He remembered the last thing he said to Amara before walking away. I don't care anymore. He slammed a fist against the dashboard. I care now. The hospital came into view, white building glowing against the storm. He screeched into the emergency entrance, barely shifting the car into park. Rain drenched him instantly, suit soaking through. He ran through the sliding doors. Inside, fluorescent lights buzzed. Antiseptic smell stabbed his nose. Receptionists stared. Billionaire Alexander Reed, dripping water like a broken man. I'm here for Amara Reyes, he said, breathless. The nurse typed quickly. Family member? He hesitated, only a heartbeat. Husband. The nurse pointed toward the elevator. ICU, second floor. He sprinted down the hallway, past nurses, past visitors, past fear. At the ICU door, a doctor stepped in front of him. You must be Mr. Reed. Alexander nodded sharply. Where is she? And where is my? A small voice cut through the hallway. Mom? Alexander turned. A little boy stood at the window of a pediatric room. Brown skin, curly hair, eyes wide with fear. He looked like Amara. The boy sniffled, wiping his face with a tiny fist. He whispered, Mommy said Daddy will come. Alexander's breath caught. Liam didn't notice him yet. He kept speaking into the silence. Daddy is a hero. That's what Mommy says. Alexander's throat tightened until it hurt. Because he wasn't. He wasn't a hero. He was the storm that broke them. He took a slow step toward him. The boy turned, and those eyes, Amara's eyes, met his. Liam whispers, voice trembling, "Are you my daddy? Are you my daddy?" Those 4 words slam into Alexander harder than any storm. He stands frozen. Breathing hurts. Existing hurts. The boy's eyes shine, hopeful, scared, fragile. Alexander's throat closes. He tries to speak, voice trembling. Words fail. Liam takes a step closer, tiny hands clenched. He waits. He waits like he's waited his whole life. Alexander kneels slowly, so the boy won't feel small. Rainwater drips off his hair onto the hospital floor. His suit clings coldly to his skin. Nothing matters. Only this child. "I am," Alexander whispers. Liam's bottom lip quivers. He blinks rapidly. "Really?" Alexander nods, slowly, painfully. "Yes, I'm your father." Liam gasps, like a balloon filling with air. Then suddenly, Liam launches forward. He throws his tiny arms around Alexander's neck. Alexander nearly collapses. He holds his son, the son he didn't know existed, the son he abandoned without knowing. Liam presses his cheek to Alexander's wet shoulder. "I knew you'd come." Alexander's eyes burn. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "I should have been here." "I should have known." Liam pulls back just enough to look at him. "But Mommy didn't tell you." He swallows. "No, she tried." Liam frowns, confused. Alexander can't explain betrayal to a child. He won't scar him. Instead, he cups Liam's face gently. "You are the best thing I never knew I had." Liam smiles through tears. "You talk like Mommy." Alexander's heart breaks again. "Your mommy is very smart." Liam nods like it's the most obvious fact in the world. She reads stories and sings songs and cooks pancakes like tiny moons. He says it with reverence, as if pancakes define love. Alexander almost laughs, almost cries. "She sounds perfect." "She is," Liam whispers. A nurse approaches. "Sir, doctors are still working on Amara." His stomach drops. Fear swallows oxygen. Liam tugs his sleeve. "Will Mommy be okay?" Alexander forces strength into his voice. "She will. I'm here now." He says it like a promise to the universe. A doctor approaches them, clipboard, tired eyes. "Mr. Reed?" Alexander stands, still holding Liam's hand. "What happened?" "Severe exhaustion, malnutrition, stress." The doctor sighs. "She's been working 3 jobs. 3 jobs. To raise their son alone." Alexander feels punched. "She fainted while picking up medication for the child," the doctor adds. Liam flinches. "Medicine for me." Alexander kneels again to face him. "Did you tell her when you felt sick?" Liam nods timidly. "I told her I was dizzy sometimes. But she smiled and said we're strong." Alexander's chest caves. He looks at the doctor. "What does my son need?" "We're running tests." "Right now we need financial clearance." Alexander cuts him off. "Do whatever it takes." "My card, my lawyers, whatever. Just save them." The doctor nods and rushes away. Alexander sits beside Liam in the waiting chairs. Hours feel like days. Liam leans against his arm, tired. "You smell like rain," Liam murmurs. Alexander gives a weak smile. "I ran here." "Why?" "Because—" He hesitates. "Because I should have been here years ago." But he says instead, "Because you mattered." Liam smiles, tiny and sleepy. "I like that." His small hand rests inside Alexander's large one. Fingers trust what hearts haven't learned yet. Alexander leans his head back against the wall. The ceiling lights blur with tears. "Daddy?" The word still stings, but it also heals. Yes? If Mommy wakes up, will you stay? Alexander's voice breaks. I won't leave either of you again. Liam nods, satisfied. The elevator dings. A nurse steps out. Mr. Reed, the surgery is done. Alexander stands instantly, heart pounding. Liam squeezes his hand. The nurse's face is unreadable. Alexander can barely breathe. Is she okay? His voice cracks on the word she. The nurse looks at Liam first. We need to speak privately. No, Alexander says. He stays. He deserves to know. Liam looks up at him with terrified eyes. Alexander squeezes his tiny hand tighter. The nurse finally nods. Your wife lost too much blood. Her body is exhausted. Alexander feels like the world tilts. But she's stable. For now, Alexander drops into the nearest chair, hands covering his face. A silent sob escapes. Liam wraps his little arms around him. It's okay, Daddy. Mommy's strong Alexander holds him back desperately. No, she's stronger than I ever was. The nurse clears her throat. You can see her. Soon. Soon. The word becomes oxygen. Suddenly, a familiar perfume fills the air. A voice cuts like a blade. Well, Evelyn says from behind them, I guess the past really can haunt. Alexander turns, slowly. Evelyn stands there. Designer clothes, perfect hair, eyes dripping poison. Liam presses himself against Alexander, scared. Alexander steps in front of him, protective. What are you doing here? Evelyn smirks. You didn't answer your phone. I was worried. Her gaze drops to Liam. Freezes. Disgust flares in her expression. That's the kid. Alexander stiffens. That's my son. Evelyn scoffs. This changes nothing. Sign him away. We can fix this fix. She uses the word like the child is a stain. Alexander's voice drops to ice. There is nothing to fix. Evelyn grabs his arm. You're throwing your life away for a mistake. Liam flinches at the word. Alexander peels her fingers off him, firm, cold. He's not a mistake. His voice shakes with fury. He's everything I ever did right. Evelyn's face twists. I won't let you ruin everything because of her. Alexander steps closer, eyes lethal. You already did. Evelyn blinks. A flicker of fear crosses her face. You don't belong here, he says quietly, and you never will. He takes Liam's hand, turning away from the woman who destroyed everything. But Evelyn's final words freeze him. Alexander, you still don't know the whole truth about Amara. Evelyn smirks and whispers, she didn't collapse because of exhaustion. Someone betrayed her, and it wasn't me. Silence. The hallway shrinks, air weighs heavy. Alexander turns slowly, eyes sharp. What do you mean? Evelyn folds her arms, enjoying the chaos. She didn't collapse only from stress. Someone reported her workplace, cut her paycheck, canceled her insurance. She leans forward, voice dripping poison. Someone wanted to punish her. Liam grips Alexander's sleeve, scared. You hurt my mommy? He whispers to Evelyn. Evelyn smirks. Not me. Alexander's jaw tightens. Explain. Evelyn pulls out her phone, displays emails and messages. A name flashes on screen. His mother. Alexander's blood freezes. My mother? He nearly chokes. Evelyn nods. Your mother hated your marriage? She said Amara was ruining your reputation. She called her a stain. Liam flinches at the word stain. Alexander closes his eyes, pain crashing over him like a wave. My mother cut her from jobs, Evelyn continues. She paid employers to fire her. Alexander's fists tremble. He looks at Liam, guilt swallowing him whole. His voice shakes. I should have protected your mom. Evelyn touches his arm, desperate. You don't have to stick with them. Choose your old life. Choose power. Choose me. Alexander steps back like she's venom. No. He stares at Liam, small, brave, full of love he never deserved. I choose them. Evelyn stiffens. You'll regret this. Alexander turns away. I'm already living my biggest regret. He walks toward Amara's room. He stops at the door, takes a breath like he is about to walk through fire. Inside, machines beep rhythmically. Amara lies pale, weak, but still breathtaking, her hair spread on the pillow like a dark halo. Alexander walks to her slowly. He sits beside her. He doesn't touch her yet. I failed you, he whispers. Her eyelids flutter. He freezes. Amara? Soft, afraid to hope. Her eyelashes tremble again. She opens her eyes, slowly, painfully. The first thing she sees is him. Her breath catches, not because he is here, but because she believed he never would be. Alexander. Her voice is weak, cracked. He swallows. I'm here. Tears spill down her cheeks. He gently wipes them with his thumb. You shouldn't be, she whispers. His voice trembles. I should have always been. Amara blinks hard, trying to sit up. Pain shoots through her. He stops her gently. Don't move. You're safe. She studies his face. He looks older, broken, real. Liam? She asks, panic flooding her voice. He's right outside, Alexander reassures. He's safe. He's healthy. He's perfect. Relief floods her face. Then fear returns. You know, he is yours. He nods. Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't know sooner. A tear rolls down his cheek. He doesn't wipe it. I was blind, arrogant. I believed lies. His voice cracks. I didn't choose you. I didn't fight for you. Her lips tremble. You left me when I needed you the most. He grabs her hand, presses it to his chest. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life making up for it. She closes her eyes. Pain leaks through her lashes. Words don't heal scars, Alexander. He nods. Then let my actions speak. He stands, goes to the door, and calls Liam. Liam rushes inside and climbs onto Amara's bed carefully, small hands cupping her cheeks. Mommy, he sobs softly. Amara wraps her weak arms around him, inhaling his scent like oxygen. Alexander watches, heart breaking, healing, rebuilding. When Liam finally sleeps curled at her side, Alexander steps closer. Amara, he says softly, you are not alone anymore. She looks away. You can't just walk back and fix everything. He breathes deeply. No, but I can start. He pulls out a legal file from his jacket, places it gently on the table. I canceled the divorce settlement your signature was forced on. You get half of everything I own. Her eyes widen. I don't want your money. He shakes his head. It's not money. It's what you deserved. He reaches into the inner pocket, pulls out another envelope. This is an investigation file. It proves who sabotaged your jobs, who called employers, who canceled your insurance. He places the file in her hands, the name on top. Margaret Reed, Alexander's mother. Amara's breath stops. I confronted her. I cut her out of my life. Permanently his eyes burn. No one hurts you again. She stares at him, searching for lies. She finds none. He kneels beside her bed, not as a CEO, not as a billionaire, but as a man who finally understands love. I don't want redemption from the world, he whispers. I want redemption from you. He leans his forehead against her hand. Please give me a chance to love you right. Amara looks down at him, torn between rage and longing. Why now? She whispers. He slowly touches Liam's sleeping hair. Because I finally understand what love looks like. She bites her trembling lip. And what does it look like? He meets her eyes, raw and honest. It looks like this. Like staying, like protecting, like choosing you and him. Every day her tears spill. But she doesn't pull her hand away. He rises, cups her face gently, seeking permission. She nods once. He kisses her forehead, not hunger, not lust, a promise. I love you, he whispers. Her breath catches, and I'm not leaving again. Liam stirs awake, eyes half open. Daddy, he murmurs. Alexander smiles, voice steady. I'm here. Amara looks between them, father-son family, and for the first time in years, her heart feels safe.